Hey, everyone. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. And it is time for another edition of our weekly track roundup, where I go over what I felt were the worst and the best tracks of the week. They're all linked down there below, as usual, in the description box, so you can check them out for yourselves. I want to quickly shout out a few things. One, the live dates that I have coming up in August in Massachusetts, in New York, in Connecticut. The venues are right there on the poster. Links for tickets down below. Hope to see you guys there. We're going to have a good time for sure. And also want to shout out our sponsor, the good people over at Ridge. You know what they are. They make these nifty metal-plated wallets, and they are great. Mine's been kicking it for months now, and continuing to love it. Make the minimal wallet switch and keep me being the number one minimalist wallet salesman on the planet Earth by hitting up the link below and using promo code MELON for 10% off. All right, also down there in the description are our Amazon and Turntable Lab Associate links, especially that Turntable Lab Associate link. Hit that up and pick up a colorful pressing of a record we reviewed on the channel. We get kickback from it. And one more shout out, Blank Banshee, who is a pretty well-known producer in the vaporwave scene, has a new project out. We have linked it down below for your listening pleasure. Okay, new Blank Banshee. Warning. Vaporwave community, warning. New Blank Banshee. Although this is not strictly a vaporwave endeavor, though Blank Banshee has always been one of the more versatile artists in the scene. So check this one out. Peep it. All right, the tracks that I thought were the worst this week, not too many worst tracks this week, honestly. Far more tracks that I thought were decent and tracks that kind of wowed me this week. So today's a positive week for the weekly track roundup, thankfully. For one, we have the new Migos track, Stripper Bowl, which is an absolutely generic, run-of-the-mill, you've heard it a million times already, Migos track. It seems they are just spinning their wheels in the mud and they have absolutely nowhere else to go. They're just kind of waiting for the moment when everybody just kind of loses interest in them and wants to listen to somebody else, I guess. And moving on from there, we have this new cut from Lil Baby and Future, Out the Mud. And Lil Baby continues to be one of the most derivative and forgettable rappers out there right now. And Future gives one of his more underwhelming performances over an absolutely run-of-the-mill instrumental. So not really much to report on this one, in my view. Let's move on to the tracks that I thought were kind of meh. Not blowing me away, but certainly worth mentioning and shouting out. Again, these are linked down there below. The new Stormzy track, Crown, is a pretty dramatic, powerful track, although the melody is eerily familiar. It's not the first time I've heard a track, a hip-hop song kind of take on this very dramatic, lavish style, but Stormzy, he does pull it off relatively well. Moving on from there, Megatron, the new Nicki Minaj track. She essentially tries to pull off a dancehall banger on this one. The lead melody on the hook is kind of annoying. I'm not sure if the auto-tune complements her voice all that much, but the verses are great. The beat is kind of quirky and off the wall. Doesn't have anything directly to do with the song, but the music video is sexy as hell, but still. Instrumental, a lot of great things going for it. Lyrically, Nicki is relatively on point. Flow is there, attitude is there, delivery is there. She sounds as solid as usual on a good single. Just really could have used a better chorus. We have Murda Beatz teaming up with Sheck, West, and Lil Pump. Okay instrumental, kind of eerie. It's really Sheck West that ends up kind of making the track worthwhile. Lil Pump's writing and rapping on this one is understated as hell, and not really sure if that does him any favors on this one, frankly. Moving on from there, Mannequin Pussy, another track from this new Mannequin Pussy, which is now out. I've shouted out a handful of songs from this record so far. Cream is the name of this latest one, and it is a very raw, aggressive, kind of garagey indie punk cut with the vocals are rough as hell, and I'm just liking the attitude coming off the track. Moving on from there, Lil Nas X, Panini, brand new single, which I've done a full-length review of on the Fantano channel. I think it's a little brief. I think it's a little derivative, but I do like that Nas X focuses on a central idea here of, I guess, falling out of favor with some fans who may not, in his view, want to see him grow, see him change, see him move on to something else. Not entirely sure, as the lyrics don't go into that deep detail, but still don't want to give much more away in terms of my opinion. As I've gone in depth before, check it out on the Fantano channel, and I have a review for his new EP coming up very, very soon. All right, moving on from there. Holy Ghost Work, their new record is out now. The dance pop duo is, I don't know, on this new cut over here, it's not bad. It's not a terrible cut. It's not a terrible song, but it's very reverby, hollow, and I think, run-of-the-mill for this indie flavored dance pop style. It's very so-so. Not a whole lot of personality coming out of the production on this one. Just seems very, very breezy, not a whole lot of flavor. The grooves are very light. The vocals not doing too much for me either. Do This is the name of the track. It's okay. And I don't know, just wasn't really all that wowed by this new crop of singles, outside of maybe one. So, I guess I'm going to give the album a try when I get a chance, but I don't know how much of in a rush I'm going to be to do that. Moving on from there, Gucci Mane, new record out. A couple of tracks off of the record, or at least one that I can remember, that features production from Kenny Beatz. So shout out to Whoa Kenny for doing some production on this one. This one featuring Meek Mill is not bad. Gucci's performance on this track is kind of awkward. Frankly, it's really Meek that ends up standing out on the cut. Instrumental's decent as well. Not one of Gucci Mane's better songs, in my view, but still the Meek Mill performance, the Meek Mill feature does make it worth checking out, does make it worthwhile. Frankie Cosmos has a new record on the way, track out from it now. It's kind of a very so-so piece of indie rock songwriting with a slight lo-fi and bedroom pop twist, I suppose. Close It Quietly is the name of this song, emphasis on quietly. It's decent. It's okay. It didn't really blow me away or feel, I guess, all that standout for this particular style. But if this is very much in your wheelhouse, if this is your favorite kind of music, give it a shot. Give it a try. We also have a new track from Devendra Banhart, and that's as low-key and as sensual and slightly folky as his material tends to be. It's not bad, but still I just continue to be underwhelmed by some of his latest efforts. We've linked the song down below. Check it out for yourself. You may dig on the low-key sensuality of the track a lot more than me. We have Chelsea Wolfe over here. A lot of people have been super psyched about the announcement of a brand new Chelsea Wolfe album and a song out from it now. The name of this one is The Mother Road. It's the intro track. It's the first track from her new full-length album, which can be pretty significant because intro tracks can definitely take on a tone-setting flavor, a totally different flavor than the rest of the record. And there are elements of this track that I liked quite a bit, and there were elements of it that I didn't. I liked how lavish and extravagant the end of the song was, but I thought the vocal performance and the acoustic direction of the instrumentation was kind of underwhelming and just felt very angsty, and I don't know, it just didn't really do too much for me. It just felt very stale and something like that was kind of beneath Chelsea in a way. Like she could have gone a little bit darker or embarked on some more sound play or something. I mean, there was definitely something very underwhelming about taking the first leg of the track in the direction that she did. However, again, I'm not willing to sort of put anything simply on my slight underwhelmed feeling with this track because it is the first song. Who knows what the hell else the rest of this album holds? The rest of the record could just bust into some kind of crazy industrial thing. And not that I, wish for Chelsea to do that or that I, would only enjoy her music if that's what she was doing. But the thing is, first track is not necessarily 100% indicative of everything else you're going to get after it. So I will say, because of the lavish instrumentation and how heavy some points and how dramatic some points of the song are, I'm definitely intrigued. But the song definitely left me, I guess, kind of, I don't know, just impatient and just wondering, like, man, this thing could really use kind of a stronger pulse or a stronger direction or something. But I don't know. That's my first impression. Could definitely warm up to the song once I hear the rest of the record. We have Blink-182 coming through with a new, short, blistering, hardcore punk song with some, slight pop punk undertones. Generational Divide. It's not too bad. Give it a shot. It's just kind of a really short, under a minute hardcore, speedy hardcore punk track. It's not too bad. We also have Alex Cameron coming back with a brand new single. Divorce is the name of this new one. If you guys remember, I didn't really care for the last Alex Cameron single. I thought the production on it was really rough. Do not know how that track got out with the beat being the way that it was. And it's also the beat on this track that leaves me perplexed. There's also like this really weird, hideous, I don't know, percussive or synthetic sound popping up in the beat every once in a while, like every bar or so, that really just kind of gets in my craw and just kind of ruins the vibe, the groove of the song. However, I do have to admit the song on this one is awesome, and it's one of Alex Cameron's best lyrical performances yet. I mean, he's essentially going through this very tense situation where it's literally divorce, and there's a ton of bitterness to his writing on this track, to his singing on this track, his demeanor, his attitude. It's something to behold. It definitely shows Alex Cameron's talent for being able to act out a song, act in character in the middle of a song, and I highly recommend that you listen to this track, if not only for that element of it, even if there are some aspects of the instrumental I don't think are amazing. And let's move on to the tracks that I thought were the best this week, the ones that really kind of left a very positive impression on me. But bam, one. We have YBN Cordae and Chance the Rapper, Bad Idea, a lovely, heartfelt, meaningful, rich little pop rap track where, of course, Chance the Rapper gets to just kind of ease down and rap a little like this, cause I do this. It's a horrible Chance the Rapper impersonation, but that flow Chance gets into when he gets really quiet and he's trying to say something that's really from the heart. That's pretty much what this song is. That's how Chance raps half the time, and Cordae, I think, was a stroke of genius on his part to do this type of track, and he also performs very well on it, and his lyrics are definitely some of the most personal he has delivered yet in a song, in a single that he's put out. But Chance the Rapper, it was a good move on his part to come through with this track and think, oh, this would be a perfect song for Chance. This would be exactly the type of song Chance would kill it on. We would enhance each other's kind of moody, personal vibe on this track, and it definitely worked wonders. That appearance did. Moving on from there, Yacht, the dance music duo Yacht, are back with a brand new single, Downtown Dancing. It's incredibly funky, incredibly exciting, incredibly colorful, incredibly fun. Loving it. Yacht is one of those groups that's I've never loved an album of theirs all the way through or anything, but every once in a while they do come out with a single that is incredible, and this song is definitely an example of that. All right, moving on from there, Rick Ross featuring Wale, Act a Fool. Easily one of Ross's better singles in a long time. Really amped, hyped up hook on this track. Wale's performance as well is a little above average for him. So, I don't know, between the rich, hard-hitting instrumental, Ross's flow and energy level, and Wale doing better than expected, this ended up being one of my favorite tracks of the week, miraculously, and I am not like a really big Rick Ross fan. You guys know that at this point, so give it a shot. Give it a try, I guess. Moving on from there, Metronomy has a new record on the way. The British outfit that features elements of pop and dance music and indie music. They have a new track out with a music video attached to it, Salted Caramel Ice Cream. And it's certainly more sensual and funkier and dancier, and I suppose it's easier to kind of get whipped up in it as opposed to the last single that they dropped. The music video attached to it is really cute too. Give it a shot. Give it a try. Mark Ronson has dropped his new record. It's out and about, and he has put out one more song from it. This one actually featuring Angel Olsen, of all people, which I'm kind of amazed to see that she made it onto the record. Not that she wasn't, talented enough to make it onto a Mark Ronson album, but didn't know she was on Mark Ronson's radar, and she does pretty well over this song that obviously is pretty dramatic, which fits Angel Olsen's voice perfectly, but it's very much a dance pop song, and as dramatic as it is, it does hold pretty tightly to that typical dance pop form, and Angel does really well over it. So I guess a combination of voices, artistic voices, that is, that I would not have expected to work together so well, working together very well. So again, Mark Ronson, True Blue, Angel Olsen, great track. Definitely digging it. Can't say I'm really that excited or looking forward to, or even planning to do any kind of in-depth coverage on this album, though. I mean, I've heard most of the songs off of it, and I know Mark Ronson's albums tend to be very spotty, very inconsistent, very one-dimensional. Usually you're lucky if like 2 or 3 songs out of a Mark Ronson record are great, and it seems I would have heard those songs already. So I guess I encourage you guys to give this album a try and just pick out of it what you can that really just kind of ends up wowing you, because of course it's a little all over the place. I love this track. I love the Miley track. There's another cut off of it that I enjoy quite a bit. Don't know if anybody else is going to be digging much more out of it than a few tracks at a time, though. Moving on from there, we have our boy Hobo Johnson. Typical Story, brand new track, brand new single. He's kind of made a big deal over social media of this new song coming out, and it's a kind of a brand new direction for Hobo Johnson and the band. It's a lot more visceral and punked out than I think Hobo Johnson's sound typically is. Not as much folk. I think people inherently hear like a bit of a hip hop influence in a lot of what he's doing, and that doesn't even seem to be as prevalent. Sure, there's poetry. Sure, there's spoken word. There's certainly that slam poetry element to what he does, and how that comes together with these like roaring, hard-hitting guitars that are, just very buzzy and, again, very punky, and the aggressive drumming. I think it works well. I would hate to hear them do nothing but this from now on, because, I think those other elements of, especially folk music definitely enhance what he's doing, but it is cool to hear him and his group become a little bit more dynamic, and try some new things, and work in some other elements and flavors, and have it pulled off well. So Typical Story, Hobo Johnson. I know at this point his shouty, over emotive delivery and style isn't going to be for everybody. That's fine. If you hated Hobo Johnson's past stuff, you're most likely not going to be, wowed by this. But if you're one of the few, one of the proud, who has managed to kind of appreciate Hobo Johnson for who he is and what he does, I think you're gonna dig on this track. I would say there's a bit of a period of getting adjusted to the louder guitars and the different delivery, the more rock influence instrumental, but it's a good cut. Moving on from there, we have an artist that I just heard of this week named Claud, and the song is "Wish You Were Gay." It's a good ballad, very witty, very passionate. Love the melody, like the lyrics quite a bit. And this is not to be confused with the track off the new Billie Eilish record that's pretty much about the same topic. Different track, different song, similar sentiments, but still, respect to both tracks because they're both good songs. They're both good ballads. So, if this is your mood, if you've been looking for more tracks that essentially scratch this narrative itch of sort of, I guess, kind of being stuck in a situation where you're attracted to another person, and obviously the sexual orientations don't exactly line up, then this is probably going to be what you want to listen to. I suppose this is going to be what you want to listen to. All right, moving on from there, we have Caroline Polacheck, excuse me, of Chairlift fame. She is coming through with a solo project. She has a new single out. Door is the title of it. It's a very strange art pop track. It is a very strange art pop track. I mean, the vocals are great. The production is good, but that's not what makes it strange, though. There is a quality to the instrumental, and especially the hook, where it has this very fast repeating cycle to it, and it becomes this really entrancing, hypnotic experience that kind of locks your brain into this frozen state. And I like that quality about it very much. It's a very strange sort of quality that I haven't heard a song kind of feature in a while. And yeah, I'll just say entrancing. It's a very entrancing pop song, and with a good tune to it and some very mystical, neat production hooked up to it. So Door, Caroline Polacheck, don't miss it. It's linked down below with everything else. Moving on from there, Blarf is a project that I'm just now learning about, linked to Stone's Throw Records, and Badass Benjamin Button Butthole Assassin is the name of this song that I'm linking you to. Again, I'm not familiar with the origins of this song or this project. I'm just hearing out about it now. But I'll say this. I'll put it this way. If you're looking for very funky, weird, freaked out, sample-based music, basically the Avalanches, if they were raised in a broken home, you are not going to want to miss this. That is essentially what this is. It is fun. It is insane. It is colorful. It is zany. It is off the wall. And the samples are heavy, and the source material is plentiful. Plenty of source material going into this track. It's nuts. It's nutty. It's I don't know what else to say about it. It's insanely impressive and insanely insane. Moving on from there, Black MIDI. Black MIDI. This is a group that it's been interesting covering some of the earliest tracks of theirs that have come out onto the internet that I'm aware of in this segment, and slowly seeing interest in the band grow from there in my audience in a variety of different corners on the internet. And now their new record is out and people seem to be kind of freaking out over it. I do like this new song that has been released just before they put this new album out. And I'm not going to say too much about it. I'm just going to link it down below because I do plan on reviewing this album very soon. So just kind of hang tight. Black MIDI review will happen sooner rather than later. So just be patient. It'll occur. We have this new track as well from 88 Keys featuring Mac Miller and Sia. That's Life. The more distance we get from Mac Miller's passing, the more posthumous music we are hearing. And this track over here it's stunningly gorgeous. It's a beautiful song. Like, not only is the production wonderful, but this is easily one of Mac Miller's most passionate, heartfelt, and frank sort of verses and rap performances ever recorded, ever released. And certainly one of my favorites that he's ever done. I think I'm not exactly sure how long this recording was sort of hanging around and everything, but I think even longtime fans will hear, this is not the Mac Miller that we had been dealing with, for the past couple of albums. Not that he was only capable of doing what he was doing on his past couple of albums, as of late, but this is definitely a very different tone than what we've been hearing from Mac Miller, over the past few years. So it's got a very, very rich. Again, I'll say very heartfelt, very motivational song in a lot of ways. And again, just production's awesome. Sia kind of brings it up on the back end with a pretty stunning vocal performance as well. Not really anything, nitpicky to say about this track. It's just great. It's great. And that has been the weekly track roundup, everybody. Remember, all the songs that I mentioned are linked down there below in the description box. So if you want to listen to any of them, curious about any of them, find them down below. Once more, there is also a link to our Ridge Wallet sponsor, promo code Melon. And once more, we got those tour dates coming up in August. I will see you guys there in Massachusetts, in New York, in Connecticut. So that is going to be it. Weekly track roundup. Thank you very much. Anthony Fantano. Songs, forever.